In this video, I'm going to walk you through the fitness studio marketing framework that we utilize to help scale fitness studios up to over $50,000 a month. This framework helps create omnipresence in your location by combining multiple client acquisition sources. You see, just relying on Facebook ads, word of mouth, or Google is not how you consistently grow your business. You need diversity in order to create that sustainability and consistency, because God forbid if anything ever happened to that one source that's creating all of this traffic for your business, well, then you'd be sinking. And so what we want to do is create harmony across multiple platforms so that you can have that omnipresence, so that anybody who's thinking about the services that you offer is going to think about you and come to your location over your competitors. Okay, so when it comes to the fitness studio marketing framework, there's three major components. The first component is probably the most talked about, which is going to be lead flow. Now, of course, when it comes to lead flow, you cannot grow your studio if you do not have leads coming into the business. And so there's three major ways that we found to generate leads. Number one is going to be organic. And so organic can be composed of a few different parts. That can be from your website. It can be from word of mouth. It can be from DMing people on Facebook, Instagram, and these social media platforms. It could be from posting content, right? There's a million ways that we can basically leverage organic. You can also make partnerships with other businesses that are close by so that they can basically send some of their members or their clientele over to your studio. The next is going to be paid. Now, of course, for the most part, when it comes to fitness studio marketing, Facebook and Instagram are definitely still king. While TikTok has come a long way, the big issue that I find with fitness studios running TikTok ads is that they do not have the time to film all the content. You need about new content every 7 days when you're running TikTok ads, and they need to be on par with other things going on TikTok, which means you need to know trends, different sounds, basically everything going on that platform, so you can stay up to date and make sure that your content that you're running is actually in line with the platform and it blends in. And that's the trickiest part. For the most part, though, with paid ads, running a simple Facebook marketing campaign on Instagram to build awareness, it can be branding where you can run $1 a day ads. I created a video on $1 a day strategy that you can operate for your paid marketing side of things. There's also, basically running offers. And so you've probably seen a lot of 6-week programs running, 7-day programs for franchises like F45. And so that's really what we're talking about from the paid side. Google ads, while they can be profitable, what you want to make sure you have in place before you run Google ads is you want to make sure that you have a converting website. Okay. If your website converts at less than 2%, then it's going to be a waste of money and it's better spent on Facebook and Instagram marketing. The last area where we see lead flow is going to be the database plays. Okay. So database reactivations, very simply put, that is basically taking a list of all the leads you've generated over the years in business and you are running a play to them. And so that could be taking an offer that you know is doing really well on your paid side of things and pushing it to that list of leads, letting them know, hey, we have a new offer running or a new program coming up or a Black Friday sale, and then basically launching that to that list. Now, this is the first component of the framework, and this is really where we see opportunity, right? And so for the most part, let me use a different color here. Opportunity. Mind my writing here. So opportunity, essentially this means, you're getting all these leads, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're generating more memberships and more sales. And that's really where we get into this second part framework, which is where the money comes into play here. Okay. And this is really where we're talking about taking those leads and nurturing. And so over on this section here for the second part of the framework, we're really talking about lead conversion. Okay. And so with lead conversion, there's three main things. Now, this first section might actually surprise a lot of you, and it's actually your website. You see, a lot of people who see your ads, who are searching for services online, the first place they're going to go is your website. Okay. And a lot of people forget this, but from the paid ad side of things, a lot of people will see your paid ads and they'll actually end up going to your website to check you out because they're curious. They don't know if whatever offer you're running on the paid ads is actually legitimate. And so they'll check out your website. The problem is a lot of studios have websites that aren't set up for conversions. And so people will go to the website, it puts them off. It doesn't fit with what they were looking for, and then they're going to be basically lost leads. And so number one is making sure that we have a solid website in place, because this is a multi-channel marketing system. Okay. This framework is supposed to combine everything all at once in harmony. And so if you have a lot of organic traffic and people are searching you on your website, then we want to make sure that that is structured in a way that's actually going to convert so that you're not wasting money, right? And if you're running ads, a lot of people will end up going to your organic traffic or your website and going through that process instead of actually going through the ads. And so we ran a few tests with a number of clients. So we ran it with 16 different studios. In this test in particular, it was for 16 different yoga studios. And what we found is when we actually turned off the ads, it was a 33% drop in organic traffic when the ads were not running. And this is why it's so important to have everything operating at the same time so that we're not pigeonholing ourselves with one thing, but we have multiple ways of generating leads and then ultimately converting those leads. The next thing with lead conversion is going to be reputation. Okay. And so for reputation, why is this so important? Well, when was the last time you looked up a restaurant and you went to the 1-star reviewed restaurant? It doesn't happen. And so you want to make sure that on your online presence, as well as like how people talk about your studio, you want to make sure that you have a positive reputation. You want to make sure you have 4.8 stars plus, and you have enough reviews that you're right around your competition or ideally above. Okay. And that's going to help with a number of things, because if you have a good reputation, a high converting website, and all this traffic that's coming from the lead flow side of things, you're going to have a lot more of those people convert on the back end because they're going to have more certainty that you can help them reach their goals. Okay. If you have a positive reputation, okay, you have a really good reputation here, people are going to have more conviction that you can help. Okay. If you have a good website that represents your brand, that makes people feel comfortable and like it's a good fit for them, that's also going to help increase conversions on the back end. So reputation is really important for that. Also, if you have a lot of Google reviews online, that's going to help you with this section over here for your organic traffic. Okay. When you have more Google reviews, Google takes that as an indicator that you are a reputable business, and it's going to actually force you up the rankings so that you're going to get more of that traffic when people are searching for specific keywords like gym near me, yoga classes near me, etc. Now, the last thing, and probably the biggest component here that most people understand, is going to be automations and systems. Okay. And so for lead conversions, of course, leads are going to come into your realm, right? They're going to be able to now be reached out to because they gave you their name, email, and phone number. When you do not have proper automations and systems in place, then you're going to drop the ball and leads are going to slip through the cracks. And so when it comes to automations and systems, you want to have our CRM process that's actually going to help you convert more of these leads. You need a proper follow-up system in place to make sure that every lead is getting replied to within 1 to 3 minutes if you want to maximize conversions, and you want to make sure there's a structure to your follow. Okay. What I see a lot of times with, these systems and automations is one, either people will overdo the automations where it feels less personal. And what you want to do here is have a balance. You do want to have some automation so that we can get in front of contacts quickly, but you want to make sure your messages are very personalized because these are real people we're dealing with, right? Somebody opts in on Facebook or your website, you want to make sure it's a real person and they're not turned off by the fact that they feel like this bot is messaging. Okay. The next thing that I see a lot is with automations is that there's no proper structure. And so what ends up happening is, every message that you send is completely different. Problem with that is if you have a bottleneck with follow-up, you don't really know what's causing the issues because you have such diversity in your messaging. And so you want to have this structured and systematic so that you know exactly what is causing a positive or negative result. And so something I talk about a lot is isolated variable testing, and you want to apply that to everything that you do. And so if you want to make a change to your website, change one thing and see how that affects your conversion. If you want to adjust your ads, you change one part of your ad so that you can see what's actually causing an improvement or, making things worse. It's the same with your follow-up and your systems on the back end. You want to use the same structured messaging. And then if there is an issue with your follow-up and your conversion when it comes to leads, to bookings, to shows, then you're going to be able to go in and make tweaks to your messages. And with certainty, because all your messages are the same, that when you made that change, the difference in your conversions from leads to trialers was because of that one change. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. And so that's really where all the money is made. Like, this is the most important part of all marketing when it comes to getting people in your studio's doors. Now, the last thing, and arguably just as important, is really where we start to see the scalability factor. Okay. And so we have opportunity from the lead flow side. We have really where most of the money is made from the lead conversion side. And at this point, this is really the scalability. The reason that is because this is where we go to conversion optimization. What is really important here is tracking our data. And so the first section in here is going to be our KPIs. Okay. And so when I'm talking about KPIs, I'm talking about key performance indicators when it comes to your market. And so I'm talking about things like show up rate, booking rate, cost per lead, also known as CPL, your response rate. Okay. And so those are the major ones that we're looking. So is our cost per lead really expensive? And then once we have our cost per lead kind of dialed in, like, what is our booking rate? What's our response rate? What's our show up? If they are, if we have a bunch of leads coming in, but nobody's replying to our text messages, nobody's replying to our phone calls, then those leads don't really mean anything to the business. And so we need to make sure we're tracking these KPIs to know where there's an issue. And so what'll end up happening in some cases is you might have, $10 cost per lead. You might have a, 50% booking rate, and you might have a response rate of about 75%. But if your show up rate is 5%, well, guess what? This is a big problem. And so the only way we can make adjustments and fix things like this is if we know that there's a problem that exists. And so the only way for us to know that is to track these KPIs. And so optimizing our conversions really comes down to knowing your numbers to the point where you can identify issues and bottlenecks, just like we did here, so that we can make fixes. Now, the next conversion optimization is going to be around our trial conversion. Okay. Now, most of this happens in the studio. However, your ads, your marketing system, your funnel that you're operating does impact the types of people that you're attracting. If you're running ads that are selling free 6-week programs and it's not really showcasing the style of your studio, when people come in, there's a lack of congruency. They might not know what's actually going on or what to expect. And so it's going to be a lot harder to close those people. Versus, let's say if you're running a really expensive trial throughout the entire customer journey, they know exactly what they're getting because the ad's showcasing all your classes, the messaging answers all their questions, like they know exactly what's happening. And so we need to understand, is our trial conversion low because of issues like that? Or is it really because, we're not very good at sales, or our service and our product has a problem? Like, let's say you have a trainer and that's a new trainer, and for whatever reason, they're getting a lot of bad reviews. Well, that's impacting your trial membership conversion. Okay. And so this is another metric that we really need to keep an eye on, because if you're not converting people who are walking in your doors onto members, then that's going to be a big problem. The last metric here for conversion optimization is going to be ROI. Now, this kind of coincides with the rest of this, but basically, if we're spending thousands of dollars on ads in our marketing system, but we're not actually returning enough money back into our pockets, then it doesn't make any sense. And so we need to make sure that we're tracking how much we're spending in our marketing expenses and how much are we actually generating in revenue from our trial purchases and our new membership sales. Usually what I see is we want to just break even on our marketing expenses, and then afterwards, the lifetime value of our clients is going to just be gravy after that first month. So we might lose out, let's just say we lose out on a couple $100 month one. By month 2, we're going to be up, okay? We're going to be up by $500. And then by month 3, we're going to be up $1,500, so on and so forth, so long as you can keep clients longer. So that's the fitness studio marketing framework that we're operating to help our studio partners grow to over $50,000 a month. Once you have lead flow from multiple traffic sources and you have a lead conversion system that's nurturing and properly getting people in your doors once they become leads, and then at that point, when you're actually optimizing your system, tracking your numbers so that you know where there's bottlenecks so that you can unclog any of the potential issues, you can now start to scale your studio up to those membership levels that you've never reached before. If this video was valuable and you want to see more content like this, give the video a like and subscribe to the channel to see more content on how to scale and grow your gym with different marketing tactics and different marketing systems. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next video.